This fallout from the federal election continues, by the way, and the nightmare for the Labor Party, make no mistake, it gets worse. Now, it's easy to say only 1 in 4 Queenslanders voted for the Labor Party, and only 1 in 3 voters across Australia voted for the Labor Party. Anthony Albanese is supposedly on a listening tour of the country. Who's paying for all this? But you don't need a very fertile imagination to know what you'd be hearing. Around the country, the Labor figures are worse than first thought. In Western Australia, they grow worse by the day. The primary vote in WA has slumped below 30% for only the second time in history. On election night, May 18, the Labor primary vote in WA stood at 30.6. At the end of last week, it was 29.9. The national vote, 33.3. The Labor vote in Queensland, 26.7%. You think they'd have problems? The Labor primary vote in WA in 1983 was 52% when Bob Hawke was elected. Now the two-party preferred vote has fallen in WA from 55 to 44. Now, of course, they don't deserve any more than that when you start talking about $387 billion in tax, standing negative gearing on its head, increasing the capital gains tax by 50%, taking money from pensioners and pretending this is the change we all need. Remember, they were going to attack Christian Porter, the Attorney-General in the seat of Pearce, and Andrew Hastie in the seat of Canning in WA. Those two candidates increased their margins. It's not that voters won't vote for Labor. They, in fact, did in Queensland and WA in state elections. But they were hostile to what Bowen and Shorten and co were talking about in Canberra. The Labor vote in WA below 30% for only the second time in history. And if you compare all of this with the 2016 election, allowing for population increases, the major parties on the left, Labor and the Greens, lost almost 200,000 primary votes across Australia. Now, the Coalition lost primary votes too, but that was offset by gains made by Clive Palmer's United Australia Party, Pauline Hanson's One Nation Party, and even Fraser Anning's Conservative National Party. In Victoria, one of the two states Labor hoped would provide the path to victory, the left has gone backwards. 3 cheers. Yeah, Labor gained 46,000 primary votes in Victoria, but the Greens lost 53,000. Whereas, this is in Victoria, when the parties of the right are clumped together, their vote is 25,000 higher than it was in 2016. While the Coalition in Queensland and New South Wales lost some primary votes, 17,000 in New South Wales and 16,000 in Queensland, the minor parties on the right were big winners. Palmer's party in New South Wales took 130,000 votes. In Queensland, Pauline Hanson's party and Clive Palmer's party each picked up 100,000 more votes than they did in 2016. All of this augurs well for Scott Morrison. Terrible results for the left, but results that are much deserved, given the kind of rubbish that was being taken to the election under the guise of policy. Anthony Albanese on a listening tour. Pity Shorten and co hadn't listened before the election. What Labor is presiding over now, make no mistake, is a disaster almost bigger than anything the party has faced since the big Labor split in the 1950s. Then it took Labor until 1972 to win government. It well could take them this long again. We'd better get used to Scott Morrison. He could be here for a long, long time. The thought of that enables many Australians to breathe a sigh of relief.